Hey everyone, Emily here and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be trying another recipe that I found on the internet, and this is another cottage cheese recipe. I've been doing a lot of these lately and there are just a ton of really viral cottage cheese recipes going around right now. It's kind of having a moment. And this one in particular looks really good. It's cottage cheese queso, and I've been seeing it all over TikTok, a little bit on Instagram. It seems super easy to make, and I'm really curious if it's actually any good. So let's give this a try and see how it comes out. So the base of this is obviously cottage cheese, and cottage cheese, of course, super high protein ingredient. I don't know if that adds a little bit of healthiness to the queso, but hopefully it comes out really creamy and good. So we're gonna be adding in 1 cup of cottage cheese to a blender. You start off by making most of this in the blender. I've seen a few different versions of this, so I'm not exactly sure who to credit it to. I'm going to just kind of take a mashup of a few different recipes that looked really good and see how my combination of those comes out. I am going to add in just a splash of water, probably less than 1/4 of a cup. I think that's gonna come out with a little bit of a better queso texture. It seemed like that queso was just a little bit thinner than the other ones I was seeing online. And then to that, I'm going to add in about a 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and I do prefer to add in sharp cheddar. And then I'm going to add in a tablespoon or so of taco seasoning. Be careful not to add too much because it could be a little bit too salty. If you prefer, you can also just use a combination of seasonings. Now I'm just going to pop my blender onto the stand and blend this until it's completely smooth. Once this is totally smooth, I'm just going to add this into a bowl, a microwave safe one, or if you prefer, you could do this part on the stovetop. And honestly, if you really just wanted the most basic version of queso, you could probably leave it like this. I am gonna add in a few mix-ins and just kind of make this a little bit better. You can make this a little bit easier on yourself and just add in a little bit of Rotel, but I'm gonna chop up a tomato, I would say about 1/2 a tomato, just with the amount of queso that I'm making here. And then just add that right into my bowl. Then I'll add in a couple of chopped green onions. Pop those right in. A little bit of cilantro. And then lastly, I am going to add in some diced canned jalapeno. And I think the canned jalapeno just has a little bit more of that kind of classic queso flavor to it than if you were to chop up a fresh one, but you can do whatever you want. I'll add in probably, I don't know, 1/2 a can. You can leave this out if you would like it to be a little less spicy. And I'll just give this a nice mix together. This is looking really good, and I'm so excited to give this a try. Before we do, I am going to heat this up for a few seconds in the microwave just to get it nice and hot. Now, while this heats up, you can definitely let me know, are you sick of seeing the cottage cheese recipes, or would you like to see more? Because there are a ton going around right now. I know a lot of you found me from the viral cottage cheese flatbread recipe, and now we're coming up on almost 7,000 subscribers, which is so awesome. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. This just came out of the microwave and it is super hot. So I'm going to give this a stir and let this cool off for a minute or two before we try this. It does smell really good though. I have some chips here, I have my queso, and I am really excited to see how this turned out. So let's give this a try and see if it tastes as good as it looks, because it looks like it's going to be really good. All right, I'll get a good amount of my queso onto the chip, and if you look at the texture here, it looks really good. It's nice and smooth. It really reminds me of just regular queso. I wouldn't look at this and think that there's cottage cheese in it. So now let's give this a try and see if it actually tastes good. Here we go. This is actually so good. This queso is so good and definitely worth making. I always struggle to make really smooth queso at home unless I add in something like Velveeta cheese, and this is a really smooth consistency and a really good flavor. You would never know that there's cottage cheese in it, and it is less processed than using something like American cheese or opening a jar of queso. So if you want to put in a little bit more time, I would say this is definitely worth the effort. Is it actually healthier than regular queso? I don't know. I'm not gonna run the nutritional information, but I would say it's really good and a really easy queso option to make at home, and I will definitely be making this again. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon so you can get notified every time I post. As always, you can find the full recipe down in the description box below, along with links to all my social media pages so you can follow along for more cooking content. Hope to see you back here next time.